YouTube, what's going on? BD Wolfgang 1980 here, aka Bezell, the man that's seen the place to be in the QCNC. Well, happy Tuesday night to you. We just got done with an episode of The Flash over here on the East Coast. Um, Excellent episode. We're going to get right down to it. We're going to have some fun. This is episode 5. Today's date is the November the 11th, 2014. Episode 5 of The Flash was entitled Plastique. As usual, the show opens up with a recap of what's going on so far this season. From there, we're fast forwarded to a bar. Barry's there, Iris is there, Eddie, Caitlin, and Cisco. They're all there having a good time, socializing, having a few drinks, relaxing. Iris walks over to Barry and tells him, hey, she likes Cisco and Caitlin. These seem like really good friends for you. Barry says they are good friends. Iris and Eddie start to chit chat, and Barry goes over to Caitlin and Cisco, and they have a tray full of shots. And Barry consumes all the shots, rapid fashion. And there's probably at least 6, maybe 7 or 8 of them, guys. Comment down below. It looked like a lot, but he consumes all of them rapid fashion. And he tells Cisco and Caitlin, "Hey, I can't feel alcohol anymore." So his world's coming to an end, guys. But from there, we are taken into a high-rise building. People are locked. They're locking up. Security guard is walking the hallways. I guess get ready to do his nightly rounds. That we see around the corner, there's a woman looking into a file cabinet, and the security guard is approaching. He yells, excuse me, he sees her and says, "Hey, stop, put your hands up where I can see him." She yells at him, "Don't come near me." And then she throws a backpack at him that she had over her shoulder, and it lights up, then it explodes. From there, the explosion blows out, pretty much blows that first floor up, blows the window out. Outside, there was a man washing the windows, and he's on a scaffold. The scaffold, is damaged by the explosion. He's hanging over, literally with his safety harness, hanging on by a thread. From there, Eddie gets a phone call about a bomb exploding, so he has to leave the bar. Iris and everyone says, "Okay, well, we'll see you later." From there, Barry moseys on out himself. Let's see. From there, we get Barry. He's in his Flash costume. He races over there. He sees the window washer hanging up, dangling from the sky. "Hey, I need help! Help! Somebody help me!" He starts to talk to the team back at the lab, or excuse me, Caitlin and Cisco. And I'm not sure they made it back to the lab, guys. Comment down below. Get me straight. Sometimes it's hard to take these notes and get every little detail right. But he's contacting them through the headpiece, and he says, "Is there any way I can run up a wall? Is that possible?" And they pretty much tell him, "Yeah, you can. You have to maintain the exact speed on the way up and on the way down. Otherwise, you could have a problem." So from there, Barry nervously he tries, and he ends up doing it successfully. We got some really awesome Flash special effects as he's running up the wall, saves the guy, runs back down. Now here's where things took a little turn and got interesting, guys. When he came down, Iris was just getting out of her car to go to the scene to see what was going on, and she straight up sees him. Now just hold on. She didn't know who he was. He did that thing where he makes his face real blurry, but she saw the streak. He's standing right there. She saw the costume, everything. He's standing right there. She just didn't see his face. From there, he races off. From there, we're taken to the police station. Joe and Barry are talking about, the night before his bombing. They're talking about how there was no trace at all of any type of explosive material. Eddie walks in and says the security footage shows that it was a woman that was in there. From there, Joe tells Barry to go to work. Barry goes down to the file cabinet area, and he is in typical Flash fashion. He's all over the place, racing through files, trying to figure out who the suspect could be, or find out something on the suspect, anyways. From there, we're taken downstairs into the police station, and a general comes in with the lieutenant or the police chief, I'm not sure, but he comes in, and the chief tells Joe, "Hey, they're taking over. Give them everything you got." Joe's like, "Well, I've never heard of the military, overseeing a civilian case." And then the general says, "This isn't a civilian case. She's one of ours. And if you don't mind to please hand over everything you have." Joe says, "Well, I'll get it over to you as soon as I can." The general says, "Now." So they already show that this general guy isn't one to push around. He definitely isn't the nicest of guys either. Okay. From there, We fast forward downstairs with Barry having all the stuff in the box to give to the general, the military personnel, and Joe kind of says, "Make sure you give them all the, give them everything we need." And Barry says, "Oh, don't worry, they got all the important stuff right here." And as soon as he hands them the box, as the guy's walking off, Barry grabs an important file out of that box super fast. The guy obviously never saw it, and he does show Joe that he grabbed the file. Joe gives him a wink, a little smile, and the scene ends there. From there, we're taken to Joe's house. Joe confronts Iris about being at these crime scenes. He believes that she's doing it because she's worried about Eddie, but Iris tells him no, she's doing it because of the streak. And now she's really invigorated as far as going after him because she tells Joe that she saw him. Joe is not liking this, but we'll get to that later. We're down at Star Labs. The team investigates the case, and Wells says he knows the general through some past dealings, that he's not a nice guy, he's very inhumane, and he doesn't trust him. Cisco, doing his usual due diligence, digs up a name and a file. They ended up finding her through the VA hospital records. If some of you aren't familiar with that, the VA is the Veteran Affairs. It's for all of our veterans. Speaking of which, happy Veterans Day out there, everyone. Oh, please forgive me for mentioning this late. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans, our active, our past, active servicemen and women. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Okay. They found her file through the VA hospital. Gets her name and an address, and as soon as he says it, Flash rushes over. The Flash actually gets there and sees her at the same time as she's leaving. He walks over to her and says, "Hey, you need to come with me. We need to talk about the other night." Once again, she yells, "Don't touch me. Don't come near me. I'll hurt you." And I believe Flash was taking a step forward just to say, "Hey, look, come on." And she put her hand up and it touched his chest. From there, we see this cool, like, spreading effect of like a blue, almost like a blue paint being spilled. And she's like, "You better, take that off. Whatever that is, take that off now." And Flash starts to run, and as soon as he runs off, they show an explosion. So the young lady thinks that he's toast. She doesn't know him from Man in the Moon. No one can survive that. And then we're seeing where around the corner, Flash is in his boxer shorts, hanging around the corner because he literally had to run and take the suit off, obviously before it exploded. Funny scene, but also a dangerous scene showing how deadly this person is. And obviously she can't control her powers. Okay, from there, we're taken to the lab, Star Labs. Barry comes in as boxers and explains what happened. Cisco was a little upset that he lost a suit. He says he only has 3 of those suits. Hey, those are my babies. Take care of them. They determine that she can touch anything and make it explode. From there, Joe joins the group, comes in and says, "Hey, the military, obviously this must be why the military wants her so badly. You guys better see if y'all can help her out before they get to her." He then pulls Barry to the side and says he'd like to talk to him about Iris, and says, "Look, you need to convince Iris to stop all this street nonsense. It's really getting out of hand." He said, "Well, Joe, I tried before." He said, "Well, you need to try again. I mean, this is getting ridiculous." And he said, "Okay, I'll talk to her." Later on, Barry talks to Iris about the streak, and just, in a very condescending tone, being very, negative. "Look, you're wasting your time. This isn't real. Come on. If you're so sure of this, you believe in this so much, then you need to put your name on the story. Stop being anonymous." Iris gets upset when Barry says that and says, "Look, I've always had your back. I've always supported you. And the one time I kind of need you here, you're not supporting me." So she's very upset. Scene ends there. Barry gets a call, says that they spotted our mystery woman. Also, they determined her name was either Beth or Beth. Guys, comment down below. Set me straight. I could not tell during the whole episode. Sometimes I thought they were saying Beth. Sometimes I thought they were saying Bess. Sometimes I thought they were saying Bet. So please comment down below. Tell me what our mystery woman's real name is. But for the reasons of this episode, she's going to be known as Beth until I'm corrected. Okay, so from there, we are fast forwarded to the VA hospital. We see Beth going up the stairs. She comes in the room. There's a doctor there, obviously one that she knows from the past, one that she held a grudge against. She's here to take care of business, get a little revenge, a little payback. Flash races over. As he's doing that, soldiers are pulling up. I'm talking full-blown military vehicles, assault rifles, scopes, you name it. They're pulling up. They're setting up shop outside. Flash gets in there, and right before, he gets in there and stops her, intervenes before she has the chance to kill the doctor. As this happens, they start shooting outside through the windows and stuff. You can see the laser scopes coming through the windows. Beth gets hit in the shoulder. Flash, she falls down. Flash grabs her by the back and says, "Look, just come with me. I can help you." Well, how do you know you can help me? Because the same thing happened to me. So she trusts him, and it shows him grabbing her, and then they run out. Also, on that part, we got some really cool Flash special effects again. I just love that effect. I know you guys do too. That's why you watch the show. But once again, end of a great scene. From there, we're at Star Labs. Wells explains to Beth that she was hit by the accelerator while she was in the hospital 10 months ago. Beth then explains the reason why she was in the hospital was because she was suffering from a roadside bomb incident. And so they make the conclusion that after the accelerator hit her and the shrapnel that was from the bomb that was in her must have merged with her DNA, and that's how she got her powers or her talents from the accelerator with the bomb explosion. Of course, Wells would like to see a field test. Now, as her and Caitlin are in the little lab room, she's talking to Caitlin, and Caitlin notices a little bit of blood streaming through her shirt. She says, "Hey, why didn't you tell me you got shot?" She says, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just the bullet just grazed me." Caitlin's like, "Hey, I'm a doctor. I'll fix you up." So Caitlin's in there trying to dress the wound, and she pulls out a little something, looks like almost like the size of a tooth, just a little small little circle, and Beth goes, "That's a tracker." No sooner than we hear that, the general, the army, they're already coming up the hallway as far as the laboratory. They start, Wells cuts them off to try to give Beth and them some time to get out of there, and starts harassing him. "Hey, where's my asset? Where is she? She's not here. I know she's here. We tracked her here." Wells denies everything. From there, we're taken to a scene outside. I think we're at the same parking lot or area where Barry first did those field tests when he did the running on the first episode. I think that's the same area we were. But she's throwing frisbees and she's throwing them and they're exploding, kind of like clay pigeons. It was actually a pretty cool effect. Cisco gives her the nickname, Plastique. From there, Beth starts to confide in Barry and tells him, "Hey, look, I just want to be cured. I'm not trying to really join any teams or change the world or anything like that. I just want to find a cure and have my normal life back." From there, she asks Barry, "How is his progress coming? Have they found a cure for him, or do you want a cure?" Before Barry can really, delve deep into it, the phone rings and it's Joe. Joe's, "Hey Barry, you must have did really well in that chit chat with Iris because now not only she's still vlogging about the streak, now she's putting her name on the articles." So obviously Joe was very upset, and rightfully so, and so was Barry. At this point, we're taken to the cafe where Iris works. Flash rushes in, full-blown costume, he's there as the Flash. He says, "Iris, I need to talk to you." From there, we get a break. They come back. She's like, "Oh my goodness, it's you." He says, "Stop writing about me. You're gonna get yourself in trouble." She says, "Well, can I ask you a few questions? I just want to talk to you." She says, "Sure." From there, the Flash says, "Well, let's go up on the roof." She says, "Well, I will. Just let me finish up here." And before she'd even finished the words "finish up," he had already cleared all the tables off and done everything for her. Of course, she's just tickled pink about this guy. She's just smiling. I mean, she can't believe she's actually seeing the street in person. He says, "Let's meet up on the roof." He says, "I'll give you a head start." She goes up there. They meet. And from there, Iris starts asking questions. Who are you? What are you? Where are you from? How'd you learn? How are you able to run that fast? He says, "You got to stop doing this. You have to stop writing. You're going to get yourself in serious trouble here." And Iris says the only reason why she's doing this, and she kind of gives a condensed version of Barry's childhood story. She says she has this friend. He'd been telling the story about this streak his whole life, about what happened to his mother. And in some strange way, her getting to know the Flash it's made all that believable now. So she wants to know what's going on with him. So she tells him she can't stop. She actually asks the Flash to help her on this endeavor. From there, we're taken to the lab. Caitlin unfortunately tells Beth that there is no cure. Dr. Wells agrees and backs her up, says currently there's nothing they can do. The explosives have completely merged with your DNA. As expected, Beth gets up, she gets upset. She's fighting back tears. She walks out. From there, Barry tries to go over and comfort her. He says, "Why don't you, just join our team? No, excuse me. Barry suggests to the others, why don't she join our team? And they all disagree. They all have their own reasons why they don't think it's a good idea. She could accidentally touch something, it'll blow up down here. They all disagree. From there, we're taken to the police station. Barry and Joe talk about why Iris is riding about the street. He tells Joe that he saw her and disguised his voice. So Joe, at this point, he's about to get angry, but then when Barry displayed how he disguises his voice, it sounded comical to Joe, so he had a little laugh about it. But this is a really good scene, guys. Comment down below about this scene. Tell me what you thought, because I really like the dynamic of how when it got kind of real or got kind of emotional, and he's like, "You want to tell her, don't you?" He can see it already, and he said, "You want to tell her just like you want to tell her something else." It was like, "Well, what are you talking about? How do you know?" He said, "I've known ever since you were 10 years old. Come on." He said, "You just have to build up the courage, and not only that, you have to know if it's right or not." And Barry tells Joe. Obviously, Joe is talking about his feelings for Iris, and he's talking about him keeping his identity a secret as far as being the Flash. But he tells him, hey, as far as my feelings for her go, she has Eddie now. But as far as the other thing goes, maybe I'll think about it. So a very interesting scene. Comment down below. I really enjoyed that. I didn't expect Joe to be so open to the idea. But maybe in the future it does happen, and maybe they'll all make a nice little team. But unfortunately with that, as we all know, you just give the bad guys leverage with the more people that are just regular Joes, regular humans. You're just giving them more trouble, more leverage. Okay. From there, we're taken back to Star Labs. We have Beth and Dr. Wells one-on-one. Wells is kind of back into that little sinister mode. All us fans of the show, you know what I'm talking about. He says that he would do anything to get his life back. He also says that military have the sheepdog mentality. Anyone messes with one of you, you mess with all of us. And he basically says, you need to kill the general. Very sinister voice, straight to the point. She obviously agrees, and she walks out with a stone cold look on her face. From there, we're back at the lab. Barry's looking around and asks the team, "Hey, where's Beth?" Nobody knows. From there, we're fast forwarded to a field. We have a bunch of military vehicles pulling up. Guys jumping out, assault rifles, guns locked, primed, ready to go. The general himself is there. Beth is there and says, "I'm here to surrender." The general says, "Yeah, right, hardly." Cisco tracks. Now, bear in mind, guys, the scenes are going back and forth between this field and the lab. Okay, so right now we're back at the lab. Cisco tells Barry he's tracked exactly where she is. As soon as he says that, Barry rushes over there. She throws some bombs at the military guys and the general. Now, guys, comment down below. Did she generate those bombs from her hand, or did she have like a pocket full of marbles or something? Comment down below, because I think I was looking down at my notes when I looked up and I saw the bombs coming out of her hand. But to me, it looked like she materialized them herself. Comment down below. Get me straight. Okay. Let's see, where's my notes here? Oh, yeah, she threw some bombs. And then the Flash showed up and stops her from directly straight up killing the general. But as he's doing that, the general, as he's groggy, he reaches down, pulls out his pistol, and shoots her. She's dying. She falls down. The Flash is holding her, and she's trying to get something out. She's fighting for her life. She's trying to tell him something. She gets the word, "Something I need to tell you about Wells." Before she can say anything further, she dies. Oh boy, good scene there, guys. We got so close to maybe Barry, not necessarily finding out about Dr. Wells, because even we as viewers still don't know, but at least having some inclination that, man, there's something up with this guy. So she dies before she has a chance to tell him about Wells. From there, she starts to glow, that same color that we saw earlier in the episode. And Barry puts 1 + 1 to get 2, and figures out, hey, she's getting ready to blow up. He gets on his earpiece and talks to the guys at the lab, says, "Hey, I got to get her out of here." And they were like, "Yeah, with the explosion of her body, it could easily be like a small nuclear explosion." He said, "Okay, well, how can I get her out of here in time?" They're like, well, there's no way you can go. He said, what about if I could walk on the water? No, we don't think you can make it. That whole thing is coming back. Barry says, well, look, just a couple of days ago, I didn't know I could run up the sides of a wall either. There's only one way to find out. I can't risk anything happening to the city. So he picks up Beth, and the race begins. Once again, guys, super cool special effects here. Comment down below. Was this your favorite scene of the episode? It was definitely one of mine. Barry's running across the water super fast. We get the trail. I mean, just awesome special effects, guys. I can't really describe it. Check it out. Tell me what you thought. But they run across. He gets her out as far as he can. As he's going, the blue color is traveling on her. Obviously, this is our visual fuse to see that he's running out of time. He gets her out as far as he can and gets her down into the water. He runs back, and from there she explodes. Guys, we got, once again, some super cool special effects. Almost like a mushroom-style nuclear cloud coming through the water, Barry running away from it. It was awesome. Comment down below. Tell me what you thought. From there, obviously, Barry makes it. The city is safe. Happy ending so far. We're taken back to the lab. The general is on the news denying that the explosion was nothing more than just military practice procedure. No one's in danger. No, nothing to worry about. The team is talking to each other, watching the TV set. They're obviously, their long faces. They're a little upset because Beth passed away. From there, we go to Joe's house. Barry comes in, asks to talk to Iris. Now, bear in mind, they haven't said anything to each other since they left kind of angrily. He talks about how he's sad about losing Beth, his new friend. He once again asks her to stop writing about the streak. And then she says, for the last time, tell me why. He says, look, I know you might be doing this. I kind of have the idea you might be doing this for me, but that was a long time ago. Those are childhood memories. I've moved on. And you doing all this isn't helping. Maybe you should move on too. And then she tells him that, it started out. That was her motivation starting out. But now she can't stop because now she won't stop until the world believes in the Flash or the streak. Barry then drops a bombshell because I definitely didn't see this one coming. But he says, well, maybe they shouldn't hang out for a while. Intense scene. Sad. We all know how he feels about Iris. But that's the way it is sometimes. Comment down below, guys. What do you think? Let's see. From there, we're taken to a bar. Barry's trying to drown his sorrows. Well, actually, he can't drown his sorrows, as we learned earlier, so he's actually just having a club soda. Caitlin Snow and Cisco show up, and they have a little special treat for him. A special liquor that they made or found. I can't remember. I think they synthesized it. But she said it's 500 proof, and it should do the trick for him. Barry takes a drink, and he's hit instantly. He's like, woo! Oh, he enjoys it very much. He said, you got any more? He said, no, unfortunately we don't. So that was all for him. From there, we get Barry in a narrative voice, as they do on the show a lot. He starts to talk about friendship, and he says sometimes, sadly in life, they don't last forever. From there, we get our usual ending climax scene. Most of the time, they have something to do with Harrington Wells. The trend continues here. So let's go on. We have Wells at the lab. We see the general on his video camera getting ready to come into the room. So obviously he has a meeting with the general. The general says he saw the Flash during the whole Beth incident. He says he knows you have something to do with it. He says he wants to work together. Wells says no. And from there we get a flashback scene 5 years ago. It is the general and Wells in the office or in the laboratory talking and arguing about how Wells is not going to, run these inhumane tests on a certain subject that he has, and he's not going to allow the general to do it either. If you don't like it, I'll take it to, I'll take it to the press and everything else. So from there, the general storms off, and then Wells walks into another part of the lab. He approaches a cage. In that cage, it looked like either a gorilla or, I don't know if it was some type of hybrid, but it was definitely some type of ape-like creature. Very fierce looking from what we can tell. It was kind of sitting in the shadows. And Wells kind of comforts him and says, don't worry, boy, don't worry. No one's going to bother you here. The name on the front of the cage said Grodd, G-R-O-D-D. And they focused on that. Obviously, this is very important. Obviously, this is someone from the DC universe, or obviously this is someone that we're going to encounter later in the Flash series. I wrote down really good, awesome show. What'd you think, guys? Once again, slow pitch, knocked right out of the park. Such a fun show. I take so much pleasure, and thanks for the support, you guys, for the views on the videos. Thank you. I take so much pleasure to write these notes down for you. I love bringing this to you every week. So thank you for watching. But what did you think of the show? I thought it was off the hook, as usual. We had a lot of sad emotions, happy emotions. We had good action. It's a great show, guys. Comment down below. I mean, please, don't be shy. I love to hear what you guys think. Enough about me. I want to hear what you think. But man, who is this Grodd, guys? Who is this Grodd? Break it down for me. Educate me. Do your best if you can. Try to keep it as much as you can spoiler free, but break it down a little bit. Let me know. Is this someone to expect? Should I have high hopes for this, or is this someone from way in the future? But either way, it was very intriguing. The show is the definition of intriguing. I mean, I love how they end it every week. They give us something, that little cliffhanger. Obviously, you guys like it too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching. So I can't wait for next week. I can't wait to see what happens. I know you can't either. Comment down below. Tell a friend. Share. Like. Subscribe. Try to go out there and be good to one another. And once again, thanks for all your support. There's really nothing else to say. I mean, A+ show. Give it 2 thumbs up. Till we meet again, my friends. Bezell is out.